Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. I am not because I just got back from my trip and I had to leave my little baby pussycat behind. I'm it's been a bit. This is actually the first time I've recorded a video since before starting the channel. As you know, I recorded all of these in advance and put them out over my vacation. Now I'm back. I'm here to make new stuff, and it's 2023. I'd like to thank you all for the support I've been getting so far. I mean, I know I'm not starting from scratch because I'm inheriting an audience from my old channel, but it does feel really good to see so many of you come over and already a few new people showing up. And I hope you stick around because we got some things planned, some things I'm going to be going over today. Yes, today will be my TBR video for the entire year of 2023. Now, I've already gone over some stuff I'm going to be reading in the near future, but I want to give you guys a sort of a broader look at all of my goals for the year. Now, it's worth noting that this will not be all I'm reading this year, and it's hard to predict what happens in the future. So some of these, while I hope to get around to them, I possibly might not, and some other books may pop up that I'll want to read instead. But I'll keep you all in the loop, and as of right now, this is where we're at. I'm currently in the process of finishing up Mistborn Era 2. Didn't get as much reading during the holiday done as I would have liked, but right now I'm almost done The Bands of Mourning, and I'm probably going to plow through The Lost Metal really quick. Then I will be reading Babel and Fairy Tale by Stephen King. Stephen King is someone I want to read a bit more of his works this year. I've read like a lot of them, but there's still a lot more I have yet to read. I'm currently listening to the audiobook for Under the Dome, so after Fairy Tale, once I make my Stephen King tier list, you can expect that one to be in there as well. As you may know, Stephen King's next book is going to be Holly, another Holly Gibney book, which I believe this is the 6th one she's been in. As I mentioned in my Stephen King video, I have read The Outsider, and I did so without having read the Bill Hodges Mr. Mercedes trilogy, which I regret because The Outsider kind of spoils the crap out of those books. But before King's new book comes out, and I don't believe it has a release date yet, I do intend to also, read the Mr. Mercedes trilogy and If It Bleeds, so I am fully caught up on the lore here, because that is something I would like to read as soon as it comes out. So starting in February, there is a movie coming out that I have had my eyes on, Knock at the Cabin, by Mr. M. Night himself. And it's based on the book, The Cabin at the End of the World, which is something I'm very interested in reading, and I will be doing so before the movie comes out. And then I will likely make a video giving you my thoughts on both the book and the movie. It's exciting. It's Shyamalan, so whether it's good or bad, I'm sure there will be a lot to talk about. And the book itself seems quite controversial too. I noticed that while it has won the Bram Stoker Award, it also seems to have a very, very mixed set of reviews for it online, so I'm interested to see what it's all about. After that, I will be starting the First Law trilogy. I'm going to read all 3 books kind of back to back. There will be a few breaks. Of course, book club goes on throughout this whole thing, and I'll talk about the book club books after. But also, Don't Fear the Reaper, the sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw, comes out at the end of February, and I'm very excited to read that, so I'll probably be taking a break from the First Law once that's out so I can read through all of that. And the First Law will probably take us into the start of spring, and after I finish that trilogy, I will be starting, of course, my huge goal for the year, which is going to be the Stormlight Archive. This is going to be a long-term goal. I will likely be taking slightly bigger breaks between each book just because of how huge they all are, but I do hope to be finished it by the end of the year. And I will of course be making videos on each individual book. Some of these I'm not sure, like I don't know if I'm going to be making a First Law video on each of the books or the whole series. It'll really depend on what I'm feeling when I'm reading them. But yeah, for these ones you can expect, full coverage. Speaking of Sanderson, he's having quite a busy year with 5 new novels coming out. One of them is already out if you back the Kickstarter, and I've heard pretty good things about it so far. Listen, I love Sanderson's books. I'm really enjoying them all so far, but I'm gonna need, I can't. With me just coming off of Mistborn, about to jump into Stormlight, I don't know if I'll have time for these all this year. A super, super long-term goal I have is to be completely caught up on all of Sanderson's work by the time Stormlight 5 comes out at the end of 2024. So if I don't get around to any of his, secret novel Kickstarter books this year, I definitely will next year. But yeah, Stormlight will be my main priority. However, I am definitely going to be reading Defiant when that comes out in November, the finale of the Skyward series. I'm very excited for that one. So while all of this is happening, I'll be listening to The Return of the King at some point. Of course, continuing my audio Lord of the Rings journey. It has been exquisite exquisite so far, and I'm very excited to re-experience that book with Andy Serkis's narration. Also on the audiobook side, I'll be getting into Dark Age at some point before Lightbringer comes out in July. I really enjoyed the Red Rising series so far, and I cannot wait to finally be caught up to it, right as we're getting a new volume that people have been waiting a long time for. TJ Klune has a new book coming out in April, and after reading House of the Cerulean Sea, I'm really interested in checking out this guy's other works, so I will likely be checking out this one as well. Now, as I've mentioned multiple times now, and you're probably getting sick of hearing it, I'm about to read Babel. This is the first book from this author that I have read, and she has another quite popular series, The Poppy War. Now, unless I hate Babel, which I highly doubt because I've heard fantastic things about it, I am also going to be reading the Poppy War books in between my Stormlight Archive reading. Like I said, I'll be taking sizable breaks between each one, and those breaks will be filled in part with The Poppy War, which is a series I am very excited to start. This author also has another book coming out relatively soon, I think in the spring. It's not a fantasy book, it's more of a thriller, and the premise seems pretty insane. So that might also be something I check out. We'll have to see. I'm also hoping, and not making any promises, but I'm hoping to take out at least a couple more Wheel of Time books this year. Because this is such a massive series, it's going to take me forever to get through it, but I do want to make a bit of progress. So yeah, it probably won't be until the second half of the year, but I do want some more Wheel of Time in my life. Now, as for book club, we are going to be starting up again next week with The Son of Neptune, continuing on our Camp Half-Blood universe journey. How it works is we pick books on a rotation, go through each person, they get to pick a book, but in between each of those, we've been reading a Rick Riordan book, because otherwise it would take us way too long to get around to all of them, and we want to read more stuff as well. But yes, continuing along with the Heroes of Olympus. After that, we will be reading Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. This is a book, a general fiction book that was highly praised last year when it came out. So we're going to be taking a look at that one. I don't know much about it. I know it's a bit about game design, which as someone who went to school for that, it interests me greatly. So I'm interested to see what this one's all about. We'll do the Mark of Athena, and then my pick, which is the Black Tongue Thief, a relatively new fantasy series that I'm excited to check out. And we will continue along with our Rick Riordan reading, alternating between other books. I don't know what the other books are yet. If you remember what I said about the Kane Chronicles, we read one book and didn't like it, so we dropped the series. We're gonna give the same treatment to the Magnus Chase books, where these are, I believe they're more connected to Percy Jackson, but they're still its own thing. We're going to read the first one. If we like it, we'll continue on. If not, we'll just skip ahead to the Trials of Apollo. Now, I don't think we're going to be finishing the Camp Half-Blood books this year, because there's still a lot, and the books do get quite a bit longer as they go on. But we are going to keep going until we are fully caught up with the new books releasing this year, The Sun and the Star and the Chalice of the Gods. And so with that is so far the general plan for 2023. Of course, I set my Goodreads goal for 40. I don't believe I mentioned 40 books here, so there's going to be a lot more I don't even know yet. But I think it'll be a fun first year for the channel. So thank you all so much for watching. In the comments below, let me know some of the things that you will be reading this year and some, new releases you're excited for. Maybe there'll be ones that I want to check out as well. And I will see you guys very soon, because I also got a lot of new books over the holidays, and I kind of want to show them to you guys and talk about them a little. Let's do that next.